Yo, yo, yo. Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. It's Monday, and every Monday we give you a little bite-sized piece of information, some data to help you improve your practice and your life. It's called Metric Mondays. And I'm my amazing co-host today, and today we're going to pivot. We're going to help you use this data so that you can be a great leader. And we're going to talk about how you lead with data and not feelings. It changes everything. So please listen up. Hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. I'm shouting again. I got to stop the shouting. I'm just so excited because it's Monday. It's the beginning of another week, and I get to do this. So I'm so excited that you guys are here. And I'm just going to start right here because I don't look at the metrics very much. But speaking of data, and we're going to be doing Metric Monday, I was actually looking at the podcast data. We now have 113,000 unique listeners. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know how it works. All I know is I appreciate you guys showing up, and we're going to keep bringing it. And you've told us that the Monday segment, you actually enjoy it. A couple of you came up to me recently, and you're like, we love Metric Mondays. Maybe it's because I'm short-winded. Well, we're going to keep down that path. That's kind of cool. And I'm my amazing co-host today, and her name is Miranda Beeson. She is not only an amazing coach, a great leader around here, awesome friend, and just a fun person to be around. So, Miranda, happy Monday to you.
Hey, happy Monday to you. You just made me picture 113,000 people driving to their dental practices on Monday morning, listening to us talk about metrics. So now I feel the pressure. We're going to bring it today.
Yeah, so I don't think there's 113,000 people listening to this one, but it just goes to show you dentistry is a very cool community, and it's just fun. So we're going to keep bringing it. So now we're going to, as if you've been following along, our goal with these podcasts on Mondays to give you a short little bite-sized piece of information. And we're going to continue to do that on Metric Monday, but we're going to bend your brain a little bit. And Miranda, maybe you could share with our listeners what that means today.
Yeah, today we're not going to talk about a specific metric. A lot of these lately, we've been very granular about the metrics that we're talking about. We're going to bring it up a little bit higher level today and talk conceptually about feelings and data, and really talking about how to be a leader that leads through data and not reactively through feelings. So today's conversation is about why metrics matter and why so many practice owners unintentionally lead from emotion instead of information. Feelings are fleeting. They can change every day. They could change every hour in the dental practice. I've been there myself. But metrics are going to show us patterns over time, and they tell the truth. So there's no fluidity to it. Like, it is what it is. There's fact behind the data. And so as a leader, we're going to practice and lead our team a lot smarter if we're using data to drive that instead of just these fleeting feelings that come and go.
Yeah, no, this is so important. And I want you to think about this. The data piece has changed the game for most of the people in dentistry. It's also changed the world of data for everybody in business. I've shared with many of you on the podcast, my son is a type 1 diabetic. The single most important piece of data in my life is his A1C score. So, and that's a moving target as he goes through puberty and becomes a young adult, and his body changes and all that. And your business is no different. And so a couple things I want to say is, like, we always say this internally. I want you to think about this. Data removes all emotion. When you have data, there's no emotion. We're just looking at data. And also, if you're a dentist and you're talking to a team member and you don't have any data, we're just having a conversation, mostly about how you feel and how I feel. And I'll also, one more story. Bo, my son, plays baseball. And I'm like that guy on that commercial who thinks his kid is the greatest baseball player. I didn't play in the pros, but doesn't mean my son won't play in the pros. Well, there was an app, and it was called Game Changer, that changed my opinion. Like one day I was, watching him go up through the ranks, and I'm like, my son is way better than these kids. And he was batting ninth. And I was like, well, the Game Changer app keeps track of all that data. And I took one look at it because the parents aren't allowed to look at the data when they're at that age because unless they get unruly. And so I wasn't getting unruly, but I took a peek of it. And the assistant coach showed me, and I was like, he shouldn't even be batting ninth. He should be sitting the bench. So that put me in my place for a while. Now he's gotten a lot better and all that kind of stuff. But my point is this, that data removes all emotion. In your dental practice, it can help you fix a lot of things and have some healthy conversations. So let's go a little bit deeper, Miranda. How do we think about this in a dental practice?
Yeah, well, when you're leading with data in your practice, or I guess let's start with when you're not leading with data, because most practices, like I mentioned earlier, unintentionally lead reactively through these fleeting feelings. And what ends up happening is decisions change week to week based on how we're feeling. So you may say it feels like the schedule's been a little slow lately. We need more patients. We need to start ramping up marketing. We need to get new patients in the door instead of slowing down and reflecting. Leaders chase problems instead of solving them. It's kind of like whatever that squirrel is. It's the squeaky wheel. It's the thing that is giving us the most anxiety right now that we start chasing down, and we might very well be ignoring a really important part of the practice. And now our leadership focus has been shifted into something that isn't as important for the success of the business because we're chasing this feeling. And one hard day or one hard week or month can create doubt about the entire future of the practice pretty quickly. And you hear things like, oh man, last month was a real rough month. We were, Sucktember. People talk about Sucktember in dentistry. Right. It fell off. Something must be wrong. Or hygiene numbers were down. Like, it's got to be them. It's got to be whatever they're doing over there. And when in reality, if we stop and look at data, we can lead in a much stronger way in our practice. So when it's going really well, it's going to look the opposite of that, right? Because looking at feelings as a leader to drive decisions is going to create a reactive leadership style. And it creates inconsistency for our team members, which can lead them to be second guessing you as a leader.
Yeah, I love what you just said. And, when I got the outline for this podcast, I love the title. Think about it, leading with data, not feelings. And even in our internal structure and what we teach dentists is when you do a meeting, it's important to start with, obviously you're going to do a segue and greet everybody, but we start with data first because it minimizes all of the chatter. Think about it. If we get to the data at the end, you just wasted a whole bunch of time talking about feelings. So it's really important to start with accurate data because you save so much time. The other thing you're going to find is when you start to lead with data, you're going to have team members that step up, that enjoy the process. The favorite people that you ever work with love accountability. The least favorite you ever work with hate accountability. And accountability requires accounting, which is data. So it's exactly what you said. It's reactive leadership. So what does it look like when we get this right, Miranda?
Well, you led into that just a moment ago. When we get it right, one of the things that we're probably doing is allowing the whole team to tell the story of the practice through the data in a unified way. Right. Practices that are really getting this right and leading decisions and leading the practice through data share data on a consistent basis. For us, we encourage weekly team meetings. And every single week, you're looking at those most important metrics or KPIs, key performance indicators, that are serving the practice's core initiatives right now. Most of our practices are always looking at things like production and collections and our overhead, the elements that we build into our gaps analysis. Those are the really important key indicators that we're tracking on a regular basis. But then what the teams are doing on a weekly basis is that are doing this right, are unifying around whatever is our priority right now or our main focus. we're putting measurement to that. I just had a team not too long ago that was really trying to improve their reputation through their Google reviews. They had made a big transition in their practice and culturally, and patients were not all patients were responding well to some of the changes in the practice because it wasn't necessarily aligned with their values anymore. And so they were leaving reviews and they were like, we gotta do something. We have these 1-star reviews purely unjustified based on just the culture shifting. So they put a strong initiative in place within a quarter. It became a focus for the team to really highlight the fabulous elements of their culture and their patient experience, and then really build on trying to gain more of those reviews that were positive 5-star reviews that were very personalized. They gained over 200 new reviews in a matter of, I think it was 8 or 10 weeks. It was really awesome to see the initiative, but part of that was they reported on it every single week. Where are we at with Google reviews this week? Where are we at with Google reviews this week? And they were able to celebrate together as they saw that grow over time. So one of the biggest elements, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on this particular talking point, but it's so important that the team is aligning on a consistent short-term basis. We don't wait till the end of the month or the end of the quarter or the end of the year to look and reflect and celebrate and see where we're trending with the data, because we have to pause. Leaders and ultimately team members have to pause, reflect on the data. When we start getting those feelings that are rising up, we're feeling the emotional flooding about something happening in the practice, and we stop and we say, okay, let's pause, let's look at the data together, and let's see where we're going.
Yeah, there's so much in what you just said. I've learned the hard way that what gets measured gets improved, but what gets measured and reported on systematically exponentially improves. So just think about that. When you're reporting on it every single week and somebody takes responsibility for that, you're going to see it go up, because they're not going to want to report bad numbers. And you can now transition to being a coach. So that's really important. And then another thing, if you've ever led people for 3 decades, like I have, one of your least favorite words is, I'm trying. I tell my kids all the time, like, there is no, I'm like Yoda, there is no try, there's only do. And they're like, oh God, stop, please. Like, there are people that can do and there are people that try. And so when you slowly, confidently, calmly lean into the data thing, you're going to see your favorite team members that like this will grab hold of it, and you don't have to do a whole lot. They won't tell you I'm trying. They're like, I did it. What do you want to do next? And the other thing, I'll just add one more thing too, is like 31 years of doing this, the cool thing about leading with data is you can transition away from the old conversations of what did we produce today? What did we collect today? It's all about money. And all the team members here is money, 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 money. When you have a great coach like Miranda, you can focus on the data points that move the needle, and you don't have to make them perfect. It's about making the practice healthy, one little data point at a time. You're going to find all this crazy emotion starts to go away. It's wild how that works. So,
well, and before you move into, I know we're going to go into action steps, but you just made a good point, and I want to build on that. Leaders can still feel those emotions. Like, those emotions aren't going to go away when you had a rough day or the schedule fell apart. You're still going to have those emotions, but verify them with data before reacting, acting or reacting, because you are going to then build confidence with your team that you are a strong leader who is going to respond through truth and through data, and not as a reaction to stress or those fleeting elements. The feelings will still come. Feel your emotions, but let's pause. Let's process them through data. Gather the information you need to verify or debunk the stories that you're starting to tell yourself. And then your team will start to really see you rise as a leader who doesn't lead by reactive nature to the stress that is put on you. Because it's hard to escape that.
Oh, tell me. I know firsthand. You know what I mean? So Miranda, what if I'm a dentist listening to this and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, you were talking about me, and you have no idea how difficult this is for me as a leader to introduce data. How can I take what you're talking about? How can I just improve my practice today? Where do I start?
The best thing is a little bit of self-awareness, just being able to recognize when those feelings start to flood up. When you get that little ping in your chest, or it tightens up, or the heat comes rising to your neck because you feel it coming. when you start to react to the emotion of whatever stressor is in front of you today or what you're seeing this month, stop and ask yourself, is there a KPI and what KPI could confirm or challenge this feeling so that I am then reacting to the actual facts and not whatever story is being kind of built up within me from an anxiety standpoint. So the biggest piece is to pause and literally just ask yourself, what metric could confirm or challenge this feeling or this story that I'm beginning to tell myself? And for example, one that comes up quite often is open time in the schedule. We hear it a lot where doctors say, like, I feel like we have so much open time in the schedule. I feel like our schedule's constantly falling apart. So you can feel that way and have this intuition or stress or anxiety that you then ask yourself, what metric is either going to confirm that, yeah, this feeling is real and I need to respond to it, not react, but respond. Or, you know what, we're actually doing okay. It must have just been a rough day or a rough couple of days. So in that particular circumstance, go and check your capacity trends. Look over each day, and you can go back in our Metric Mondays. We talked about capacity, and look at what truly is trending in our schedule in terms of open time. You may find that this was fleeting, and over the course of the quarter or the course of the month, you're doing great on capacity. You really actually don't have that much time in your schedule. Or you may validate your fear and say, oh my goodness, our hygiene team is operating at 70% capacity. 30% of the time we have holes in the schedule. But now we have validated that stress and we can come up with an appropriate plan. We can show the data to the team and we can come to the team without this feeling, this flooded feeling, creating the conversation, and instead this data point that we're all going to look at together and then solve, how do we watch it get better over time?
Yeah, so well said. You say it with such a calming voice. Like, you make me feel better the way you're talking about this. And which I'll add a third one, to this. Miranda gave some great illustrations for countermeasures where you can improve this in your practice. But lastly, if you just don't know how to do this, you need a coach. You need a helper, because the cool thing, now I'm biased. I think we have the greatest coaches ever, but the coolest thing about having a coach is they don't work in your practice. They don't tell them stories of all the emotions and, the backstories that go with all this. If you, as a dentist, get your team rallied around, we're going to improve the practice and we're going to lean into somebody like Miranda and we're just going to follow her lead, all of those stories you tell yourself about, like, my patients won't do this is never going to work, they all go away because you're not the bad guy or the bad girl. Like, you're just following those things. And Miranda doesn't mince words. Like, when something's not working, she just tells you. And I love it. So, as you've already noticed, she can say it in a nice way so that you and your team members can go, that's great, let's do this. So I want you to know you're not alone. So whatever emotion you're experiencing, a lot of it comes from a story. Most of the stories we tell ourselves aren't true. And I just love how you laid this all out. Leading with data is a huge, important piece as a leader, not feelings. So thank you, Miranda. That was awesome.
Absolutely. I was happy to be here to do it. I hope everybody has a fantastic week ahead of them.
Yeah, so stick around when we say goodbye to everybody else. But thank you guys for listening. As always, we're going to keep bringing it. You guys keep showing up. We're going to keep bringing it. And if you haven't noticed already, we have an amazing ecosystem of resources back in the Best Practices Association. All of this stuff, we're geeks about this stuff. We live, eat, and breathe this stuff. So don't try to figure this stuff out on your own. We've already created resources. There's an amazing community back there. And we have now merged with the Smile Source community. And it's an amazing group of human beings and leaders that want to really support and maintain independent practice. So join us on that journey. I promise you won't be disappointed. So keep showing up. We're going to keep bringing it. So until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. Hope you guys enjoy your Monday.